doing the front differential on a 2004 Polaris Magnum 330. This is your fill hole. Down below here is right there is your drain. First thing you're going to want to do, this one's an Allen, it's an 8mm. Get in there with a pick or a small screwdriver and clean out all the crap. You don't want to strip that off. That plug is not cheap. Then clean off the area and get ready to remove it. Make sure that's in there all the way. Crack it loose. Once you do, it should come out pretty easy. And this one has an O-ring, so clean it off, set it aside. Okay, the drain plug is about in the center underneath here in the front skid plate. Get on there and oh, nice. Came loose. Drain that. Keep the washer with it. And just let it drain. Once it's done draining, just put your clean off your drain bolt. Make sure that you clean off the magnet there on the tip. See, it's, and then you just thread it in. Tighten it to 14 foot-pounds. As for the front fluid, you're going to fill it until it barely weeps out of that fill hole. Use what Polaris recommends, whatever fluid they recommend per the owner's manual, or I'm just using this AMSOIL again. This is specifically designed for, see, it replaces Polaris demand drive fluid, AGL, gear case, and transmission fluid. Don't just put any old thing in here. There's special clutches inside of this diff, so either use the OEM or a high quality aftermarket. For me, it's easiest to just get a pump and pump it in. This one's already full, but I'll just show you pumping in the fluid. And then you can see it start to come out. That's what you want. And it's full. Last step is to reinstall the cleaned fill plug. Thread it in by hand and then torque it to 14 foot-pounds. And that's all there is to it. Transmission fluid service on a 2004 Polaris Magnum 330. Here on top of the transmission you have your fill plug, and then underneath here you have this one on the far left. That's your drain plug. So to get to the fill plug, go around the fender there and reach from the inside. And then crack that loose, which I did earlier. Now I can get the ratchet out of the way. Show you. Okay. There's your fill hole. Down below I already cracked this far left bolt loose. Just unthread it. And let her drain. Once it's done draining, take your drain bolt with the crush washer on there, the aluminum one, and just thread that in. This one's kind of tough to get a torque wrench on, so just tighten it snug right there. As far as filling the transmission goes, Polaris wants you to fill it 1 5/8 inches from the top of the fill hole, which kind of seems inconvenient, but it also mentions in the owner's manual 13.5 ounces of fluid. So I just take a measuring cup. These are like for painters, they're cheap, and I'm just going to pour out 13 and a half or so ounces. That looks good. And then I think I'm just going to pump it. My setup for filling it, I just have my little gear oil pump in there without the pickup tube. And the fill tube just goes right in there. And I'm just going to pump it until all the oil is gone from my cup. I pumped in all the transmission fluid. Just out of curiosity, I marked 1 5/8 inches onto a screwdriver, and it was actually the perfect level. So I'm just going to put my cleaned fill plug on here. Make sure it's not cross-threaded. There you go. And then just tighten that to 14 foot-pounds, and you're all done.